Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. They're available in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll also find a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access information about the books I have available. I've written How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's an exam technique book full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're in the actual exam working through your paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, it's all there for you. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And now we're going to crack on with grade 4 theory, and we're on page 40. If you turn with me to page 40, and we're going to be looking at the topic of ornaments. Now I've referred to this as section K. So if you turn in your PDF document to section K, you'll find the information that you need there. And so I'll just explain the ornaments that are going to be referred to in this exercise. So we've got a trill, which is written with a TR, or if it's a particularly long trill, we have like a wiggly line after it. It can also be known as a shake. And really this is just alternating notes where it alternates up a note. Now in older music, up until the time of Mozart and Haydn, it begins on the upper note. So although the given note is an F, it can begin on the top note G and then alternate upwards. Or on more modern music after that time, after that classical period, it begins on the given note and just alternates upwards. Very often there's a little sort of turn at the end there. So that takes us to the next one, the turn. If you think the given note is on the line, what happens is you begin above the given note, then the given note, below the given note, then the given note. So you can see how this sign's really descriptive of what's happening. A mordent or an upper mordent, it looks like sort of a W with an extra little line on it, is literally a quick alternation, just one alternation up and then back to the given note. So you play the given note, up a note, back again. The lower mordent alternates once again, but this time it alternates down. So you've got the given note, down a step, back again. The acciaccatura, which is also sometimes referred to as a crushed note or a grace note, is literally just squished in. It's always written with the stem pointing upwards. It's above the given note, the next note up, and it quickly crushes down to the given note. So really, you're borrowing the timing, you're just squeezing it in, just borrowing it from the timing of the previous note. The actual note that it's written next to isn't altered at all in timing, you'll see. It's borrowed from the previous note. An appoggiatura is written almost the same but without the little line crossing through, and that's a little bit more sort of pedantic, sort of a bit more pedestrian I should say, and it's where we equally divide the timing. Rather than crushing it in, it equally divides the timing. And the reason we have all of these different ornaments is it's just so much easier to put the sign rather than to work out all the individual mathematics to fit it in. So you can see from a composer's point of view, it's much easier to add those embellishments as a symbol than to write it out in full. And so exercise 1 is just getting used to drawing those signs, and it's asking us to add the sign as marked here. So the sign for the trill here, just literally above that note, we write TR. There's no need for the wiggly line here because it's not long enough. And so if you want to have a go at just getting used to drawing these signs, it's just placing them exactly where the arrows are, and then I'll go through that with you. So I'll continue to add the signs. There's another trill, literally above that note there. The next one asks for a turn. Now if you'll notice, sometimes the turn can be placed directly above the note, so you would begin on the note above, then the given note, and so on. So that would be there. However, here you can see that the turn is added after the note, so we would have to play the given note first and then begin the turn by stepping above that given note. Here we go then. So an upper mordent is, you can perhaps just give yourself a capital letter W and then put the extra little line on at first, if that helps, or just go for it. There we go. There we go. And then next one, we're writing the lower mordent. So again, we do the sort of the W sign with the extra line here, and then we just need a line straight down the middle. Here we are again. So we're just placing the symbols at the moment. That's easy peasy. So the acciaccatura is always written above, so here we're going to need a ledger line, and it's a much smaller note head. Stem always goes up with a little line through it. Watch out that you remember an acciaccatura is the one with the line through it. The appoggiatura doesn't have the line through it. So again we need the ledger line, but this time it's the note above. There we go. And then this time we're going to need 3 ledger lines because we need to get above this given note here. There we go. And so let's move on to exercise 2, where we're going to look a little bit more closely at how these are realised. So I shall just have my little document to hand. So it's asked us to tick the box showing the best way of playing each of these extracts. So here we've got a turn, but if you'll notice the turn is after the note. And so that's why they've marked this one here. I mean, this one isn't a turn at all. We've got rapid alternating notes. That's more of a trill. Here, the timing isn't quite accurate. It should be evenly applied, whereas here we've got a disparity in timing. Here, we perhaps aren't really giving the note long enough and the timing isn't correct. It should be equally evened out. Whereas here we can see we've got the given note, then we've got the turn, and then the other thing to remember is anything outside of that ornament should not be altered as well. That's the case in all of those, but just to notice nothing else is affected. So we're going to need to choose this one here. Let's have a look at this next one. If you want to have a go and just try and guess, by all means do so. And then I'll go through them with you, or we can just work through them together while you get to grips with these symbols. So here we have an upper mordent, and so let's just glance through. So this one won't do because this is going lower. This one looks promising because it's actually the note, given note above, back to the given note. These two are unaffected, so that one's the promising one. Here, this one, that's a turn, that's the wrong sign really. And then here, it's not equally divided out because we've got this given note is a little bit longer than the following two, and it should be an equal application of the symbol. So really, this is the one you're after. Just move on to the next one. And so let's have a look now at this one. So we've got a trill, and so we're going to be looking at the note, given note, and then we need it to be alternating upwards, and it's starting straight away, and then oftentimes there's a little turn that finishes, and then these remaining notes should be unaltered here. So here, although this alternates above, I don't think it continues long enough. It should fill the entire notation value here, so that's not appropriate. This one's looking promising because we've got alternating notes, we're alternating upwards, we've got the nice little flourish, and then we're ending as given here. Here we don't start alternating at all, in fact that's a turn. And here this is incorrect because we're alternating downwards, because the given note is the B, it should be alternating upwards. So it's got to be this one here. And I think that's it. Let me just peep over the page. Oh no, we've got a few more. Let's just turn over the page. And so let's see what we've got to go at here. So we've got now a lower mordent. Yeah, that makes sense. We've only covered a few, haven't we? Let's carry on then. So now we've got the lower mordent, so we should have this A that alternates down and back again. So that one looks promising. This one, although it's got the right direction of notes, it's not appropriate because we've got a delay before it happens. That one's alternating upwards, so that's not appropriate. And here that's not quick enough. It should be a rapid alternation. So it's this one. There we go. And now we've got the acciaccatura. Let's see what happens here then. So we need to be taking the note value of this ornament from this bit here. This note here should be unaffected. We should still have a crotchet B. So none of those are appropriate. So it's going to be out of these two here. However, this one isn't really quick enough. We've taken too much out and changed this note value too much. We should have the majority of this note left and we're just stealing a little bit of it. So it's got to be this one here to sort of quickly steal a bit of this to crush into the next note. And so it's got to be this one. So that's that. I think that's the trickiest bit done. Let's look at this last exercise, exercise 3, where we're just going to name each of these ornaments. So perhaps you could use this as an opportunity to test yourself to see if you can just remember what each of these symbols means. So perhaps have a go, just have a guess. It doesn't matter if it's incorrect. You're writing in pencil, of course, so you can always erase an incorrect answer. I think you'll learn it better by just having a bit of a stab at it. So here, the only thing to watch out for is that you say this is an acciaccatura, not an appoggiatura, because an appoggiatura wouldn't have that little line through. We've only got a little space, so perhaps squish the writing, because it's double C, acciaccatura, there we go. And then that's nice and easy to remember because we've got the first letters already, it's a trill. So here you've just got to watch out which mordent it is, and when there's a line through the middle it's a lower mordent. Mordent, not mordant. Here this is the appoggiatura, which is more evenly spaced, so that would work out as quaver quaver. You divide it equally between those two notes. So double P, double G, there we go. Here we go. So this one is an upper mordent. It can sometimes be referred to as just a mordent, but it's best to clarify. So upper mordent, there we go. And again we've got an acciaccatura. Now this is a big jump, isn't it? So you can actually have more than one as well. You could have like 2 or 3 crush notes to squish in. So here we are, we've got a big jump here, but nevertheless that little line tells us it's an acciaccatura. Double C's. There we go. So we've got some mordents again here in this next one, so just watch out which one's which. So we've got the upper mordent first of all, with no line bisecting it. And then here we've got the lower mordent with the extra line. Here we've got the turn, which so easily visually represents what happens to the melody note. So there we've got a turn, and then we've got a trill here that's easy to guess with the 2 letters given already. There we go then. So that's the first introduction to ornaments, and that's it for this grade. I do hope this has been helpful to you. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab. And please subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. Please do visit sharonbeale.com. There's lots of information for you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.